Welcome to Liberty's Great American Cookbook. No national cuisine has been so underrated or poorly treated than American food. Let's face it, it's got a bad reputation. But cooked properly, the way it's meant to be, it can be some of the best food in the world. So this is the show that claims back American classics from the fast food joints and shows you how to cook it just like my mama does. We're starting things off with some down and dirty American burgers, perhaps the best known and the most maligned American meal. The best burgers use simple prime ingredients. They're made from scratch and they involve just some of the most delicious dishes. Sound familiar? Probably not, but we'll soon change that. Helping us out today with the sampling, I'm delighted to welcome James Lee, who's setting the internet alight with his James vs. Burger blog. If anyone knows his burgers, it's this man. Right alongside him is Barry McKenzie, who's a forward with the Brayhead Clan ice hockey team. Two men with America in their blood, each for entirely different reasons. So we're out to change the perceptions of the authentic American burger. I have an outrageous recipe that involves bacon and beer. But firstly, people are waking up to how good, wholesome, and nutritious a burger can be. I've been checking out what's available in Glasgow, and what I found even took my breath away. We have searched high and low and even under the Kelvin Bridge to find one of the coolest burger joints in Scotland. Chef Stevie at the Inn Deep has been grilling up some of the juiciest, most decadent American burgers. I cannot wait to try them. Hot damn, Stevie. This is a burger tower here, man.
This is a monster. It's an absolute monster.
I mean, this is clearly an authentic burger.
The authenticity has to come from the meat itself, obviously. Good, sort of locally sourced and nice, succulent, juicy meat. Not adding too much to it. Let the meat do the talking themselves.
Let the meat do the talking.
Let the meat do the talking, yeah, absolutely.
Clearly, we've got a lot of toppings on this burger. I mean, I don't know, we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we're going here. We're going for it with this burger. But how many toppings to you makes the perfect burger?
A lot.
So sweet potatoes, being from the South, are a national grub. So what makes you choose sweet potato fries over regular?
It's the flavour of the sweet potatoes, and once you fry them, the caramelisation on the outside and stuff, it just makes them absolutely fantastic. I think they're always a perfect accompaniment to a burger.
Before I dive into this burger, what do you call it? And should I eat it with a knife and fork, or should I just face plant it?
Okay, well, this is the Inn Deep 12-hour shift, called the 12-hour shift because it takes you about 12 hours on the treadmill to work it off.
I'll be in the gym.
Take out the knife, obviously, and crush it down a little bit, and yeah, just take a big bite.
Just go for it.
And just have it.
Okay.
That should be it.
Oh my God. Oh. I'm headed back to the kitchen to make a Juicy Lucy burger from Minnesota that I promise will turn your normal burger up a notch. Oh, the best thing I've ever tasted. So that's my challenge, and I'm up to it if you are. So let's get cooking. We're gonna start off with our avocado onion rings because they need to go into the freezer for a little bit. So don't laugh, but I have my onion goggles because I'm one of those people that just absolutely cries like none other with onions. I feel like there's those people, some people are and some people aren't, but I look like I've, had the worst day of my life. So all we're doing here is gonna make these little onion rings. So just like this, about I'd say a centimeter around. So we're gonna make a couple of them right here. Really simple, really easy. And it's just gonna sort of give you the shape for your onion ring. Now let me tell you, this is one of these dishes that if you have in a restaurant, you think, how on earth did they do this? But it's actually really easy. So now for our filling, we have some gorgeous mushed up avocado. That was just one ripe avocado. I'm one of those really annoying people in the grocery store who go through and squeeze all the avocados. I think my fingerprints are probably all over the place. We're gonna put in a little chopped tomato, some paprika, a nice good dose of salt, but we're frying these, so you don't need to put too much in. And then our handy dandy micro zester, which everyone should get if you don't have one. It's the greatest little tool on earth. And just gonna zest in a little bit of that lemon to get a kick. Now this is not quite guacamole, because I don't really like guacamole, but it's sort of a, I guess I would say a take on guacamole, because I think avocados are delicious. And then just a little bit of basil to give it a nice flair. So there's our basil. And we're just gonna mix this up, right, like that. It gets so, oh, look at those colors. You get these beautiful, bright, happy colors. It's perfect for a nice dinner party. And all you're gonna do is slide this sort of mixture here right into the center of these rings. Now, what we're gonna do after that is just freeze them. Okay, so you're gonna freeze them, I'd say at least an hour, but you can freeze them overnight. You can freeze them probably up to about 48 hours. So it's however prepared you would like to be. So we just freeze those, just like that. Make sure you really get it into all the corners or it's not gonna fry properly and you're gonna be having guacamole goo all over your fryer. And off we go. So those will go into the freezer in just 1 minute. And that's done for our entire onion ring prep. Okay, so before we get going with the rest of our onion rings, we're gonna start on our beer can burgers. We have this spectacular burger meat right here. That's really a nice, simple burger meat. It's not expensive, it's quite inexpensive actually. I'd say I really believe in having inexpensive burger meat because otherwise the flavor just isn't there. I was talking with Barry and James earlier, and Barry was telling me his take on expensive burger meat versus cheap burger meat. What are you thinking?
As long as it tastes good, I don't really mind.
Simple answers are what we like. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your beer can and you're gonna move your burger all the way around it. So you're basically using this beer can to shape your meat. So we're gonna do that with all 3 of our burgers because we're all 3 eating today. Clearly, I'm a good eater. And we're gonna just roll these up and around, making sure you really get a really nice seal on it. And the key is to put these little beer cans in the freezer real quick, right before you do it, because it means the meat slides off easier. So you push it down and make sure you don't push your beer can all the way down. You need a bottom to these because we're gonna stuff them. So these are sort of our perfect casing for all of this. Okay, so we have our 3 burgers. Now for the kicker, the up a notch, we're gonna take some streaky bacon, not the other bacon that you guys use, but the streaky bacon, the American bacon. And we're just gonna wrap them around these burgers and sort of give it a little pinch, but they should stick really nicely. And I have not done a single thing to this meat. I have kept it exactly plain. I haven't seasoned it. I haven't put anything on it. It's simply the meat from the butcher or from the grocery store, whoever you choose to go with for your meat. So we've wrapped our bacon around, 1 more to go, and you can use more pieces of bacon if you're feeling particularly bacony, or you can just stick with the 2 that go right around. Okay, now's the time we're gonna take our beer cans off. Off we go. And we have this nice little bowl that we've made that we can stuff with delicious things. You can go as crazy as you want. You can do sauteed mushrooms, sauteed onions, whatever sounds good, or you can just go for simple. I put a couple tomatoes in because it keeps it moist while they're baking in the oven. If you're doing it on the grill, it's a bit quicker, so you don't need to put the moistness in, but if you're doing it in the oven, I would definitely suggest keeping a little moisture in there. I have some really sharp cheddar cheese. I think you really need that sharpness to get it going. So make sure you're very liberal with your cheese, because that's what makes the best burgers, in my humble opinion. A little bit more cheese, and then finally, the final touch is some barbecue sauce. Use anything, you can make your own if you want to. There's tons of different kinds at the store. This is the kind of thing you can really experiment with and see which one you like. So you're just gonna pour it in there. God, I just wanna, even though these are raw, they look good enough to eat. And you just pour that in there, and that is your beer can burger. So we're gonna stick those in the oven for an hour. I would say at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 140 degrees Celsius. I'm gonna get there someday, okay, with all these things. And we're just gonna stick that in. I sometimes put a little bit extra cheese on top, just for perfection's sake. And we're just gonna stick those in the oven for an hour, and we're all set to get going, and it's gonna be delicious. And there's a quick break coming up, but stay with us as I prepare these buns and cook up some of these onion rings like you've never seen before. Welcome back to Liberty's Great American Cookbook. Before the break, I rustled up my own take on the classic American burger, the bacon beer can burger. And our guest today, food blogger James Lees of James vs. Burger, and ice hockey player Barry McKenzie from the Brayhead clan will be helping me out with that very, very soon. Not long now, guys. But every burger needs a good bun and maybe a good side of onion rings. Sounds good to me, so let's get to it. So before we went to the break, we fixed up these avocado onion rings. So you can see there's the ring that I use my beautiful goggles for. And here's this avocado mixture that had tomatoes and a couple spices in it. And it's solid frozen. I think I froze that for about an hour. And we're gonna fry them now. Now, a lot of people feel like you need these really fancy deep fryers, but really all you need is this heavy bottomed pan, which I use all the time, and you're just gonna put some vegetable oil in it, whatever oil you want. Vegetable oil does the trick, so I'd just stick with that. And you're gonna heat it up until it sort of does this glistening movement. Worst case scenario, you can stick a couple little things in there and see if they start to bubble, which they do, thankfully, and we're all set to get going. Now I have a little flour, and that's always gonna be the first thing you dip whatever you fry in, is that dry sauce. Some egg yolk with a little bit of the beer that we used in here, just to give it a little bit of an extra flavor. And then these are nice, small, and crunchy breadcrumbs. So all we're gonna do is flip it around, make sure it's really well coated, and then here's the kicker. You're gonna dip it back in the egg yolk, get it really good in there. Make sure you drip it off so that it's not this goo of stuff. And then you're gonna stick it right back in there. Look at that. So it's really nice and covered, it's really crunchy. I hate it when you get something fried and it just has a really thin little frying on it. So this is nice and crunchy. And then I'm gonna do something dangerous, so bear with me. I'm just gonna put it in with my fingers. And we're gonna get a nice light sizzle. It's quite light. You don't want anything too heavy because otherwise it's gonna burn really quickly. So we'll do one more just like that. So into your flour, make sure it's really well coated. Back into the eggs, just like you do it. And then you're gonna stick it right into your breadcrumbs. Really mix that up. Back into your egg again. It's like a little assembly line here. But this is the kind of thing that's fantastic for little kids to do. Maybe not the oil part, but for them to sort of get involved with cooking. It's a great way to do it. And I think people are really afraid of frying things because you think you need some fancy fryer or some big thing. So James, tell me, are these the kind of things you've had before?
I've never had a beer can burger before, and I've never had avocados and onion rings, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, it's good to have a first for everything. Now, Barry, would you give this a go?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely.
I think we could pick out some home cooks here and tell them to keep moving, because Barry told me he's a really big home cook. So hopefully this is something that someone can try at home. So there we go. We have our onion rings frying. Your hands are gonna get incredibly messy. That's just the way it goes. And we can get started on our little burger buns here. So now I like these things, I think they're called morning rolls, and I think they're absolutely divine, and they are the perfect burger consistency. They're light and fluffy, but you can give them a nice little toasting. So we're just gonna toast our buns right here like this, just in the pan. You could also stick them in the oven with your burgers if you wanted to give them a nice toast. And here we have our things sizzling away absolutely beautifully. And you can flip them and see that nice brown that's coming up on here. You want it to be a golden brown. You don't want that sort of really thick brown stuff in there. That's absolutely gorgeous. Look at those. So I'm gonna add a little bit of butter to my bun just to make it absolutely succulent and delicious, and plate it up with these onion rings that when you break open, all this avocado deliciousness is just gonna come out. And then we're gonna stick everything in the oven and get it real hot and nice for you, and off we go. It'll be absolutely perfection. Now, James, I told you that I like cheap burgers. I don't like expensive ones. What's the most expensive burger you've ever had?
Well, I'm with you. I don't really think that burgers need to be too expensive. However, the most expensive one that I've had was in New York, and it was $35.
Woo!
Well, it came recommended as the best burger in New York City, so I had to try it, and it was very good.
I feel like I need to try that burger sometime and get going on it. But right now, our burgers are coming out of the oven. I mean, look at those babies. Now, don't worry if it looks just the teensiest bit burned. That's the sauce. The barbecue sauce will get real dark, but if they're not burned, don't worry. We have our bun here that's been toasting away and is all warm and gorgeous. I'm gonna pick up our burger here. Which one do I want? The biggest one is the one I want. Plate it on. Look at that. And then I'm just gonna take these gorgeous little onion rings out. Dribble, dribble. Out we go. And there we have it. We have these down and dirty burgers with our avocado onion rings all ready to dive into. My stunning down and dirty southern beer can burger and my avocado onion rings that I cannot wait to dive into. And I'm here with James Lees from James vs. Burger, a spectacular burger blog, and Barry McKenzie from the Brayhead Clan ice hockey team, who's joining us to give his big appetite to these burgers. Hello, gentlemen. So come on, let's dig in.
All right, okay.
I think my favorite part about these is that when you open up,
You're just using your fingers.
you're just, yeah, I'm using my fingers, I'm going for it. When you open these up, you see all this gorgeous avocado inside, and it's the kind of thing that when you go to a restaurant you think is really hard to do, but it's so easy. So what's the verdict? Good?
That's really good,
It's
yeah.
good, great.
I'm starting with the burger. I'll get to the onion rings later.
So what does an American expat look for in a burger?
I like obviously the bacon, like all the salad, like have a good thick
Really
bit of meat.
thick
Yeah,
meat,
yeah, all
yeah.
the sauces and stuff.
When you were in Florida, did you get a lot of different kinds of burgers?
Yeah, I did. It was a wee while ago, but it was quite close to the beach, so there's obviously like the burger places down the beach and go down with your friends and kind of miss school. And you shouldn't say that. But, no, I had a great time there, and the burgers the food over there was just amazing. I loved it.
Good. So James, final verdict.
It's incredible. I've never had a beer can burger before, and just having everything just stuffed inside the burger is just spectacular.
Good. Well, I feel vindicated of like burger making from you. So now tell me about your blog. Tell me about what we'd find, what we're gonna see.
Really, the blog kind of just started as just a bit of fun, really. I have family in New York, and whenever we would go over to visit, we would always go on the internet and just look for, search for where the best burger was in New York City, just like you would kind of do anywhere. And we kind of noticed that there was nothing like that for Glasgow. So we thought, well, why not? Because Glasgow's full of great restaurants and it's full of great burgers, and no one seems to be talking about them. So we just kind of thought, for a little bit of a joke, we would just kind of start doing our own thing and try and find the best burger in Glasgow. And it just kind of took off from there.
Have you ever had a really awful burger? Like inedible, where you can't eat it?
I've had one that was inedible, and it actually was here in Glasgow in the West End.
Don't tell me where. We'll have to find out for ourselves.
Yep.
And Barry, now let me tell you, you're a sports player. Do you
Yeah.
have to manage your diet, or can you just dive into something like this?
A lot of people do manage their diet. Like I think just in general now, it's not just sport. Everybody's so diet orientated. But I mean, like you obviously watch what you're eating, but like you can eat basically what you want. You have to obviously take care of your body and stuff. But I mean, you can have your odd day where you're having your kind of burgers or whatever, your anything. I don't. Personally, I don't really. I mean, I do watch what I'm eating, but like I'm not like that. Doesn't really like it's not a big thing to me.
Would the off season be really different from when you guys are out there expending thousands of calories every second, which I never do?
Yeah, definitely. The off season's it's obviously a lot harder. You have to that's then maybe then you have to watch what you're eating, because as you said, you're not on ice every day training. You're obviously we still go to the gym and stuff, but it's not the same.
Not the same.
So during the summer you kind of have to watch what you're eating, and like as there's barbecues and stuff, that's summertime. So I mean, you just have to watch, but.
James, what would your, besides mine, of course, what would your ideal burger be?
To be honest, I like burgers fairly simple, just with cheese and minimal toppings. I think sometimes burgers can be stacked too high, and I think when you're eating a burger that's bigger than your own head, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. So I really look for just something that's just nicely seasoned and just the cheese on it, and just simple. Just keep it simple.
I'm with you. I'm with the simple. Here we are. And thank you all very much for joining us on Liberty's Great American Cookbook. And thanks to my guests for the day, Barry McKenzie and James Lees. You can catch all of today's recipes on the STV website. And please join us again soon for another great American dish. Bye for now.